On to my next portion of the show, we have my next special guest. We have Joshua Wolrich. Welcome to the show.
Hello, nice to speak to you. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
nice to speak to you. This is really interesting. We're talking about how the clocks go forward and how it might affect people's like metabolism and um, social jet lag as well.
Hmm. Obviously, we all know about daylight savings, and I believe the clocks are going. I think they're back this weekend. That's the thing that's so confusing, isn't it?
Yeah,
But we should get an extra hour of sleep, which all sounds good. But unfortunately, we'll probably not be as well rested as we would expect. Um, so I was going to say we have an internal body clock. We have an internal circadian rhythm that affects our hormones, affects our gut health, affects our sleep cycle. And when we change the times that we wake up and go to sleep, we think we know what's going on, but our body has absolutely no idea. And it's been associated with poor health outcomes like cardiovascular health risk, things like strokes, diabetes. So something we need to start paying attention to a bit more.
right. And because that's a common myth when people say they got an extra hour in bed, um, is it the opposite effect, even detrimental to someone's health, as you just said?
Yeah, well, it's about the changing of our patterns. An extra hour is fine. It's not the end of the world by any stretch. I think we could all do with a bit more sleep, but our sleep is a product over time. So one night's not going to do anything. This is going to be a constant change that needs to happen, and that's the problem with daylight savings. Is it's 6 months of the year in one cycle and 6 months in the other. So it's this constant change back and forward.
And and can you tell me more about melatonin? Does that play an effect on the body clock at all?
Yeah, so there are a couple of hormones in our body that are stimulated both by sunlight and darkness. Melatonin helps us sleep, and that gets produced as the sun goes down, as there's less light around. Can be disrupted potentially by our screens as well. So if we're having a lot of playing with our phones, watching TV just before bed, that's something that has the potential to disrupt our sleep hygiene, which is also something we need to be paying attention to as well.
Coming out of lockdown as well, there must be so many people suffering from not getting enough good night's rest.
Yeah, well, obviously, stress plays a huge impact on our sleep quality. Also, just in general,
Yeah.
lots of things have changed, haven't they, in the last year and a half? And all of these different factors that we can focus on to improve our general health, be that cardiovascular health, be that to do with our sleep, things like diet, right? So there's lots of evidence to show that increasing things like fiber and unsaturated fat around things like seeds and nuts like almonds are really good for lowering your cholesterol. It's been hard for us to focus on our diet over the last couple of years, hasn't it? Things like exercise as well. Some people have really struggled with that due to all sorts of reasons. That's also something that can improve our overall cardiovascular health, and also something that can be affected if we get poor sleep. It goes both ways. Exercise can also help us sleep. So there's things there that we should be paying a bit more attention to that we've definitely been struggling with, and we don't want to just continue to let it catch up with us.
You mentioned some of the risk factors as well to people's health. Um, is there still time to make that change? It's not; they're not all irreversible.
No, no, no,
Uh,
definitely not. This kind of stuff is long term. So, one night of poor sleep isn't going to change everything, but it does mean that the things that we want to change need to be sustainable. There's no point doing the regular New Year, New Me type thing where we do something for a week and then nothing happens for the other 52 weeks of the year. We need to be changing things sustainably. So that's got to be things that we can actually do. There's got to be something that we enjoy. There's got to be something that we actually like. So, finding food that you enjoy, finding recipes that you can introduce nuts into, almonds into that are actually going to be good for you, finding exercise that you like. Nobody likes running. Like, maybe go out for a walk or play some tennis or something else that's actually more enjoyable to you. This kind of stuff, nothing sticks if it's out of fear or shame. We need to be doing stuff that is actually fun.
and you mentioned breakfast as well. I always keep saying it's one of the main meals of the day to get you started, prepared for the day. And it's quite shocking how many people ask how many have breakfast, and even a bowl of fibre may get you on the right track for the day.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
I think we we don't want to kind of harp on too much about particular meals, because if some people don't like eating breakfast, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I think everyone's quite individual in that sense. There is no one size fits all. But breakfast can be really good, and a lot of people would really benefit from eating something, getting some energy in, some slow release energy, something that's got a lot of fiber in it, like you said. Again, not to harp on it, but nuts are great as well. So get throwing some chopped almonds on your breakfast. You'd be surprised how much of an impact that can make on your energy levels throughout the day.
And how much sleep should one get per night?
It's the golden question, isn't it? It's a bit like how much water should we drink a day? It's going to be different for everyone, but there tends to be a kind of a general kind of 7 hours tends to be quite good. But some people will vary. But again, it's not necessarily the quantity, it's the quality of that sleep. And so making sure that we're paying attention to things that will improve that quality and not disrupt it. So, stop having caffeine after 3 p.m. Lots of us will drink caffeine and coffee far too late into the afternoon, evening. And as much as we think we can get away with it, it has a big impact on the quality of our sleep. Making sure the room is dark, making sure the room's not too hot. Again, as I already said, making sure we're not having screens too much before actually trying to go to bed. All of that stuff is going to make a huge difference. And getting 6 hours of good quality sleep is going to be better than 7 hours of bad sleep all day.
Some useful tips there. And this is an offshoot of the talking point of today's show. People who may struggle at sleep may like a little siesta in the afternoon.
Yeah, no, it can definitely be helpful. There's nothing wrong with having a little siesta after lunch. That's absolutely fine. A lot of the healthiest countries in the world, a lot of the Mediterranean countries will do that. That tends to be a general routine in their day. I think it's just what we're used to, right? We're used to that not being part of our routine, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. If your job and your lifestyle allows you to fit that in, go for it. Just if you sleep too long, you might then struggle to go to bed in the evening again. So maybe keep it to less than an hour.
Yeah. Great. So thank you so much for Josh, for Wolrich, for joining me today's show. Just talking about the changes of the clocks going forward here in the UK in October, and the nights drawing in as well. Some very useful advice there on today's talking point here in the UK. Danny, it's a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.